Hello everyone, so I've got a lovely little job today. I'm in a job that I did do some videos on it, not this roof particularly. Little double story extension with a vaulted roof, and what the customer wants me to do, which I think is going to look awesome, is in this area here put a raised bed mezzanine in. So I'm going to get on with that. I've got a load of timber. Unfortunately the sockets are a little bit low, so they've got to be moved. And realistically, what it is, hang on, I'll step right back here. Yeah, what I'm basically doing is making a double bed that I'm pretty much going to fix at a mezzanine high level. So, going to be a great job. I'm going to take some measurements and then do all of my cutting outside, and I'll show you that as I'm going. So, one of those funny days today. It's going to be sort of half inside, half outside. It's freezing outside, and it's obviously nice and warm in here. So, yeah, let's get downstairs, have a look at some timber and make a start. Okay, so I've got it set up outside. I've got all my timber out. I'll just quickly talk you through it. There's a load more there. I've actually got 2 of these mezzanines to do, but I'm just going to show you the main one. I've scribbled some measurements down, and realistically what we're looking at here, look at this. I hope there's any architects watching. Sorry about my drawing. So basically it's pretty much 2 meters square, so it's quite big. So what I've done is I've got this is really nice sort of joinery grade timber. It's not the top joinery grade because it's got knots in, but it's really good stuff. So what I've got is a front and rear. Imagine I'm just making a giant bed frame basically. So I've got this lovely 220 by 33. This will be the sort of the front runner, or joist if you like, and the rear joist that goes against the wall, and then the joist that go in between is this lovely 170 by 27. So what I'm going to do is basically obviously cut these to length, and then I'm going to make up a sort of ply jig, and I'm going to house these 170 by 27s into this this front and rear members. Mine's gone blank what to call them, but you know, these front and rear runners, and I think that'll make a nice strong joint. And then what I'm going to do, again, you'll see, is when I put it all together, I'll fix this one on the wall and possibly sort of screw down through the top and then glue it. And then on the front here, I'm going to screw through the front, but then there's a balustrade detail I'm going to put on which will cover those fixings, which should be cool. The customers bought, I think it was more cost effective, the customers bought, I think off Amazon, a ready-made sort of lofty type ladder, timber ladder, cheaper than I could make when I get the materials for, to be honest. So yeah, first job is going to be cut these to length, make a plywood or whatever I can find. There's lots of sort of stuff kicking about. Jig so that I can cut these, mark out and cut where these joists are going to go. So also I'm going to just round off the bottom edges. I'll round off the bottom edges on these little cross joists as well, and that should hopefully match the round of the groove I'm going to put in. I've cut my front and rear runners, plates, whatever you want to call them. I cut them so they fit in the opening, and what I've now done is put some marks where my trenches are going to be. These are exactly 400 centres down here. It works really well because it's literally 2 meters and 11 millimeters, so that works perfectly. So what I've done is marked my I've put some marks, and you can just see, marked my sort of where my front's going to be and my top's going to be, so I know what's what. Mark these out here, transferred them across. Obviously these marks don't want to go all the way, because if we look at this is basically the joist, you see. The joist what we'll do now is cut a housing out and house that joist in there, and that just leaves a nice detail. This is nice and strong because it's got to support quite a bit of weight on the front anyway. It also just means there's not a flush joint here, which I quite like. So that's brilliant. So I've got to make, as I said earlier, get a bit of ply, now make up a little jig so I can route out for these. Yeah, and then we can make some progress. Day just keeps getting better and better actually, because the sun's come out and the temperatures come up dramatically. But also it's new pencil day, so happy days. And I think there's a cup of tea just about to arrive. Yeah, look at that, steaming hot cup of tea. So, you know, that's absolutely brilliant. So let's get on. Right, I've cut my bit of board which I'm going to use as my jig template, done some mathematics, worked out that the width it needs to be, so I'm just going to do these 2 cuts on the table saw, be nice and parallel, and then cut this last bit out with the jigsaw. Table saw's fantastic for this kind of stuff, it's really accurate. What I've done, I've gone very slightly shy on the measurement here, maybe just 0.5 millimetre. Then I'd rather it was too small, and then I can just, if the trench is a bit tight, I can then open it back out again. So just go on the smaller side to start with. So cut this bit out, and then we'll mock it up on a bit of ply and see what the trench looks like when we get the router in it. Really important to be super accurate when you're making jigs, because obviously if you make a rough job of the jig, the router will just follow it and make a rough job of your housing. So I'm going to set this up on this bit of, I hope you can see me, set this up just on this edge here, clamp it all up, put the router in and see how we get on. And hopefully that'll be right first time, but if not, like I said, we can make that slightly bigger if we need to. Right, let's see what that's like. Oh yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, happy with that. If I just show you in here. So, yeah, basically, that trenching's, super zoom. Yeah, so we've got that trenching cut in there nicely now, and when that piece of timber goes in there, I'll put a little pencil round on the end of here, and that just sit down nicely in there. So got that jig sorted. I can get on and trench all these out now, but not until I've had a sandwich because it's tea time. So I've just added one final bit to my jig. It's a fence, basically. It enables me to push it up tight to the top of this runner here, this joist, whatever you want to call it, trimmer. And as you can see here, look, it helps me line up. This is where the router cutter is, and I can just line it up with the edge marks of my trenching. So, and then just clamp it down onto that timber and just run those out. So, bit of extra time and effort on making that jig, but now those all those trenches up there are going to be really, really quick. So I can get on with that next. Right, we're all lined up. Jig's in place. I've just got to hang it over, put a scrap piece under to support the end here while we do these M1s, and then it should just be a simple case of lining them up and routing them out. So let's get this front side done. I'm going to drop the cutter in slightly deeper than I had it for my test piece. I think this is holding quite a lot of weight on the front here, so I want a decent bearing in that trenching. So let's get on with that. Go. Yep, that's brilliant. See how quickly we can do these now. Line it up with a pencil mark here, clamp it, lovely, and then off we go. So that was really quick, you see. We've got all these lovely trenches in here. They're fitting there nice. Like I said, I'm just going to take the round off these sort of joists here, and that should fit nicely down into there, fit flush at the top. So yeah, really happy with that. Do the same on the back one, and then what we can do is get this one fixed to the wall, cut our two end ones that go in this end and that end, because the wall that this is fitting to has got a bit of a bow in, so we can't just cut them all the same size. So we're going to have to, as I said, put that one on the wall, put one on this end, put one on that end, and then measure and cut the rest and drop them in, which shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, really good. Do that back one now. So we have a nice pair of those now. That's the rear. Let's get the other one in here. And this is the front. There we go. So, as you can see now, they're all paired up nicely. The trenches, obviously, because we marked them out. So, as I said, repeat myself, sorry, fix this one to the back wall, and then cut the end one in here, and then this will have to be fixed to the wall here, and then we'll have to put some more heavy duty fixings in the front here, obviously, because that is going to take all the weight of this one. So, yeah, really happy with that. Get these cleaned up now. I'm just going to block plane some of these sharp edges off, run my little pencil round on the bottom edge here. Then we can actually fix those in. As I said, so yeah, really happy now. Moving at a pace, brilliant. Yeah, so just quickly show you, I've got a rounding cutter in here, and it must be pretty much exactly the same diameter as the router bit that I use, because look, that fits inside that, ugly or not, that's on the back face. That was deliberate there, so hopefully you won't see it. As you can see, look, that fits quite nicely in the bottom of that trench. So yeah, fantastic. Clean all those off and get upstairs and start fixing some of these in. So I've just taken off sort of all the sharp edges. I know there's ply going on top of here, but it looks better just knock the arrows off slightly. And then just on these trenches, I'm literally just going to take off a slight bit of fur and just make it a little bit neater. Yeah, so really exciting now. Can start to take this one upstairs, get it fixed to the wall.